So in the last lecture, we have started discussion on functions of a PPC. In that, we come to know that the functions of a PPC are segregated in three parts. That is nothing but pre-planning functions, then planning functions, and controlling functions. So we have discussed this all the functions. In pre-planning, we have to perform the product design, process design, flow design, forecasting, and workstation design. Whereas in planning, we are doing the planning related to the 4 M's. First of all, that is nothing but process planning, planning resources, and that 4 M's are nothing but machine or equipment, material, then manpower or labor, and the last one is methodology. Okay, then in a planning only, the next step is nothing but process planning. So in process planning, we are deciding the flow of a material inside the industry, and whereas in a scheduling, we are providing the loads to the machines according to their capacity. And in estimating, next step is nothing but estimating. In estimating, we are estimating the time required or the standard time to perform the task in a specific machine. Okay, and the data related to that also we have discussed, and the write-up part is also covered. Then the next part of a PPC, functions of a PPC is nothing but controlling. The controlling will start with the dispatching, then afterward inspection, expediting, and evaluation. So dispatching means dispatching the work orders to the specific machines and the departments or to the workers, then which will ensure the production process will start. And then once the production process will start, then and then only the control function will comes in the picture. And the next step is nothing but inspection, which is related to the quality department. So online inspections are performed for the materials or the in process products, and whether that are accepted or not, that ensured by the quality control department or quality assurance. And then the green signal will be provided to the production process, and further production will be continued. Then after that, expediting means creating some reports like product output, rejection reports. Then we can say that number of products produced per hour, per day. So like that, reports are produced. Okay, then productivity will be calculated, and these reports will be useful to do the tally with the planned things. Okay, so the next step is, or the next function is nothing but evaluation. In evaluation, we have discussed that the analysis is prepared, corrective actions are taken, and this analysis will be provided once again to the planning phase. Okay, so in this manner, this is the closed loop functions of a PPC. Okay, so once again, the planning phase will be initiated and it will be followed by the controlling phase. Getting? So that we have discussed in the last lecture. Also, we have discussed the write-up part also. So in this lecture, we'll go with the production procedure. Yes, the write-up part of a controlling, production control, or the functions of a control phase, that are remaining, but we will continue with the planning phase only initially, and then we will go for the controlling phase. Okay, so production procedure. Okay, so which procedure need to follow to produce the goods? Okay, so that procedure we will see first of all. Now here the production procedures are listed, but you will understand better thing through this particular chart. Okay, so if it is not visible properly, then you can use the zoom feature, and you can enlarge this block diagram. Okay, so everyone knows that the initial phase of any production, that is nothing but a planning, and for the planning purpose we required the self forecasting. So the most important step, that is nothing but sales forecasting, and production process will start procedure will start with the sales forecasting only. Okay, so in forecasting, we are doing the market research, we are doing the market surveys, we are preparing the forecasting, and we are preparing the demand of a material on the basis of a time. Okay, or on a as a function of a time. Means if you say for the year the 1,000 components need to produce, or there is a 1,000 component demand in the market, then for which month how much demand will be there. Okay, so that will be nothing but a function of a time. So every month near about 80 to 90 component you need to dispatch. Okay, on you need to provide to your customer. So that will be the that is nothing but a demand we need to prepare, or we need to determine as a function of a time. Then once the demand sales forecasting or sales demand is known, then we will go for the preparation of a budget. So how much amount of money or financials, or we can say that the money is required, capital is required to produce that much amount of goods. So that will be prepared with the help of a financial department, and then that budget will be provided to the manufacturing and manufacturing department or production department, and also it will be provided to the management. So here you can see that the second step is provided to the management, it is linked with the management. So that is nothing but here the the copy of a budget will be provided to the management, and management and production department both will review that budget, and final copy will be provided to once again to the financial department. Okay, so once the budget is prepared, then the next procedure is nothing but preparation of a details by engineering department. So we know that for the products, every product there is a design. Okay, every product there are some spare parts. Okay, or material requirement. Okay, so let us consider any small component like, or small product like your watch. Okay, so in the watch there are multiple number of components are there, and by combining all the components, one product will be produced, or it will be represented in the market. So each material details you required, and each component drawing is required to produce that particular component. Okay, so the list of all such a component with their materials and their manufacturing processes, that is nothing but bill of material. Okay, that is nothing but a bill of a material. So the engineering department will prepare a bill of a material. Okay, engineering department will prepare a bill of material with their specific drawings. Okay, for the particular material, or for a particular product, or a particular component of that product will have a particular design or drawing. Okay, that will be prepared. Then this bill of material and the production budget will be provided to the production planning department. Okay, and production planning department will also having the sales forecasting also. So sales forecasting, then the budget, then the details bill of a material related to the product, that will be available with the production planning department. Okay, and this department will prepare the plan which is related to production. Okay, so plan, we have discussed that in a production planning department, initially the planning will be related to the 4Ms. Then the routing phase is there, then scheduling is there, loading scheduling is there, then estimating is there. So that things will comes under this production planning. Okay, that things are comes under the production planning. So that will be prepared by the production planning department, and we can say that the orders are prepared, and it will be provided to the production department. Okay, the orders are prepared and it will be provided to the production department. Then production department authorizes that particular production plan. Okay, and production plan and also the orders related to the production. Okay, and it will provide that orders to the specific departments and specific machines. Okay, so in this phase, the authorization will be taken from the production department, and the orders will be provided for the production purpose, and then only once the order will be received, then only the production will start. Okay, and once the production start, then only the control functions comes in the loop. Okay, or control function or control production control will come in the picture. And in this control function, the all the things that is nothing but dispatching to the evaluation, that all the points are covered, or that all the functions are covered under this particular control function stage. Okay, in this control functions, the record will be generated, prepared. Okay, and the analysis will be prepared, and that analysis will be provided, will be useful for the or that reports are useful for um, doing the analysis, and analysis is useful to take the corrective action. Then once the production will start, then the quality control department will do the inspection to ensure the specific quality of that particular product, whether the material is up to the mark, or the component which is produced by the production department, it will meet up the required quality. That will be ensured by the quality department, and it will comes under the inspection and quality control. Okay, and once the quality will be assured by the quality department, then the whatever the whatever the reports are generated, that reports are evaluated. Okay, and we can say that the analysis is prepared, and that analysis is also provided to the management. Okay, this analysis is also provided to the management for the corrective actions. Okay, and once the we can say that this is the intermediate stage. If the quality is okay, then we can go for the finished goods stock. Okay, the product will be stocked, and it will be dispatched to the customer whenever there is a demand from the customer side. Okay, now here dispatching to the customer will use that product or component, and it will give the feedback to the sales department. Okay, it will provide the feedback to the sales department. So in this manner, this production department will work. Okay, in this manner, the complete production procedure will work. Okay, so these are the steps related to the production procedure. Okay, is there any doubt, any question in this production procedure? Is there any doubt, any question? If not, please draw this diagram, complete diagram. And give the heading as production procedure. Production procedure. So first stage is sales forecasting. Under that you can write sales forecasting. Under that you can write based on a market research. Based on a market research, comma, the forecast is prepared with breakdown of a products. The forecast is prepared with breakdown of a products as a function of a time. Okay, as a function of a time, and this self forecasting will be provided to the management. Okay, management on this side, management is there, so it will be provided to the management. Then next step or next procedure is preparation of a production budget. Preparation of a production budget. So in this stage, prepared by financial department. This stage, or we can say that the budget will be prepared by financial department. Under that you can write prepared by financial department and sent to management, for review and decision making, and sent to management for review and decision making. Okay, so this budget is also provided to the management. Budget is also provided to the management. Then third procedure is preparation of details by engineering department. Preparation of budget, preparation of details by engineering department. So what kind of details will be prepared? Detailed drawings will be prepared. Each and every component drawing will be prepared. Then part list, or it will be called as a BOM, bill of a material. So in a bill of a material, everything is specified. Okay, size, then material, which material is required, then production, which kind of operation need to provide to achieve that product, or that shape or that size. So that is nothing but bill of a material. So in this stage, the engineering department will prepare the drawings, comma, part list in bracket BOM, that is bill of material, bracket complete specifications. Okay, then next stage is production planning. Next stage is production planning. So under that you can write supplies complete data, supplies complete data to dispatching section. Supplies complete data to dispatching section. Dispatching section. Okay, so dispatching section will prepare the orders. Okay, after assigning the load to the machines according to their capacity, the dispatching section will prepare the orders and it will release the orders. Okay, so dispatching section prepare orders, and after that the orders or the data will be authorized by production department. So authorization for production. This dispatching section create the order and it will authorize the start of a production or start of a manufacturing. So dispatch of a production order. So it will be authorized by providing the orders to specific department or machine or a manpower. Okay, then once the production will start, next stage is control function. Control function. Under this control function, you can write progress is compared with the plan on a continuous basis. Then next stage is inspection, quality control. Inspection, quality control. So in that you can write to ensure the production of items, as per the specifications. To ensure the production of items as per the specifications. Then next stage is evaluation of a production system. Evaluation of production system. So evaluation means analysis is prepared and feedback is given. By doing the analysis, feedback is provided to the management. Okay. Evaluation of a production system and feedback on improvements. Feedback on improvements. Then you have the finished goods in the stock. So next stage is, next procedure is stocking the finished goods or maintaining the inventory of finished goods. So finished goods stock, and the goods will be dispatched to the customers. So dispatch to the customers will be the next stage. Okay. So you can say that here you, on one side you can make one box, and in that you can write the customer. Okay. So product will be dispatched to the customer, and customer will provide you the review to the sales department. Okay. To the sales department, and which will be useful to determine the sales forecasting. Okay. It will be useful to determine the sales forecasting. Okay. So this is the production procedure. I hope everyone understood this. Now the next point, you can write the line balancing. Okay. Line balancing. Give the heading as line balancing. Line balancing. Okay. So consider this is the engine of any four-wheeler, or we can say that the truck. Okay. And to manufacture this engine, how much components are required? You can see here how much components are required. So only piston is having this much components. Okay. This much components. So this is the crankshaft. This is the cylinder body. Okay. So there are a lot of component required to produce the things. Okay. There are a lot of components are required to produce one product. Okay. So complicated products. So let us consider the complicated products. Now, if you assign the assembly of this product to one person, if you assign the job of doing the assembly of this particular engine to one person only, so what will happen? So that person will get confused. First of all, that person will get confused at what place I have to locate which thing. So that is the most important. If the experienced person is there, that will also, there may be chances also that person also miss out some of the components from the products. Okay. And that will be the failure of a system. Okay. If you assign the job and that person will not perform the task as per the requirement, then that will be the failure of a system. So what is the good thing, or what is the thing we can implement to produce the assemblies or the products such as this engine, or we can say that the complicated products? So in this case, we can use the assembly lines. Okay, assembly lines. What is meant by assembly lines? Assembly lines means, look at this particular picture. Okay, so one product is manufactured on this assembly line. Okay, so let us say the product first stage or the assembly first procedure is starting from this point. Okay, or this workstation. Okay, so specific task will be assigned to this workstation, and that worker will perform that much task only. So here the chances of doing the mistake will get reduced. Okay, so this person will perform the assigned task only. Then the product will transfer to the next location or next workstation. Then that particular worker will also perform this task which is assigned to him. Okay, or which is assigned to her. Okay, similar kind of way, the task is segregated. Okay, the task is segregated according to the workstations. Similarly, the task is segregated according to the workstation, and a particular workstation in charge perform that much task only. Okay, and a particular workstation in charge will perform that much task only. Now here, the chances of making the mistakes will get reduced. Okay, and the time required to produce the good will also get reduced. Okay, the time required to produce the goods will also get reduced, and the quality of a product will get increased. Okay, so rejection chances also get reduced. Okay, now what you require in a line balancing concept, you have to understand that the time required for each workstation. Okay, and the similar kind of a time should be, or similar kind of a task should be provided in sense of a time to each workstation. Okay, यहाँ पे मैं क्या बात कर रहा हूं कि आपको एक टास्क कंप्लीट करने के लिए कितना टाइम लगता है एक वर्कस्टेशन पर. ओके, सो वो टाइम कैलकुलेट करना पड़ेगा. सो ईच वर्कस्टेशन का टाइम आपको कैलकुलेट करना पड़ेगा. So why this time is required to calculate? Because if you consider that to perform the task on one workstation is 10 minutes, and to perform the task on another workstation is, let us consider, 8 minutes. Okay, one task. Okay, now after 10 minutes one component will be released from this workstation to the another workstation. Okay, after 10 minutes, and this second workstation will perform the task in 8 minutes only. Okay, but till the second workstation did not receive the next component for to perform the task. Okay, so for the 2 minutes this second workstation will be in an idle condition. Okay, and that idle condition will be considered as a production time loss. Okay, production time loss. Okay, so for that purpose you need to ensure that the 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 process or the task should be assigned in a such a manner, or the assembly of a product will be segregated in a such a manner, so that the time required will be the constant for each workstation. And if this is not possible to provide the constant time, in that case you should ensure that the multiple similar kinds of a workstation should be provided. Okay, for that particular extra time required task. Okay, for that particular extra, जिस समझ लीजिएगा कि एक प्रोडक्ट को 10 मिनट बनाने के लिए चाहिए. ओके, एक टास्क कंप्लीट करने के लिए एक वर्क स्टेशन पर 10 मिनट चाहिए, और दूसरे वर्क स्टेशन पर सिमिलर दूसरा टास्क करने के लिए 20 मिनट चाहिए. ओके, सो एक वर्क स्टेशन से दो कंपोनेंट आपको नेक्स्ट वर्क स्टेशन के लिए मिल रहा है. ओके, नाउ यू शुड लोकेट द टू वर्क स्टेशन, सिमिलर वर्क स्टेशन. जो दूसरा टास्क है उसके लिए आपको दो सिमिलर वर्क स्टेशन लगाने पड़ेंगे. ओके, जो जहां पर वो वर्कर सिमिलर टास्क कंप्लीट करेगा. ओके, इससे क्या होगा, आपको 20 मिनट में दो कंपोनेंट मिल गए सेकंड वर्क स्टेशन के लिए, और सेकंड वर्क स्टेशन 20 मिनट में एक ही कंपोनेंट प्रोड्यूस कर रहा है, नहीं तो एक ही कंपोनेंट आगे भेज पा रहा है. तो वहां पे आपने दो लगाए तो आपका जो प्रोडक्शन रेट है वो सेम रहेगा. दैट इज नथिंग बट in 10 minutes you are producing one component. Okay, you are producing one component. So in such a manner you have to reduce the idle time of a assembly lines. You have to reduce the idle time of a assembly lines, and you have to reduce the bottleneck. Okay, this concept is also called as a bottleneck concept, because if take the take one bottle. Okay, and it is full of water. Consider it is full of water, and if you inverted, okay, or if you tilted this the neck of bottom, or we can say that the whole of bottom in a downward side. So each and every drop of the water inside the bottle want to come out that particular hole of that particular bottle, but it is not possible to come out because of the size of that particular hole. Okay, and if you increase the size of a hole, okay, bottle hole, in a such a manner that in a fraction of a second every bottle come out of that particular bottle. Okay, so then you'll not require that much time to come out of that particular water, did not require that much time to come out of a bottle. Okay, take the similar example. आप एक क्लास में बैठे हो और उस क्लास का दरवाजा ऐसा है कि एक टाइम में एक ही आदमी बाहर जा सकता है. ओके, और आपकी छुट्टी हो गई and everybody want to come out of the class. Whether it is possible that at that particular time everyone will come out of that particular class? No, it will not possible. So that thing, okay, people want to come out of the class, but it is not possible. At least you required 5 minutes if you are sitting on the last bench. Okay, 5 minutes to come out of the class. So that thing, it will be called as a bottleneck. It will be called as a bottleneck. एक टाइम में सबको सब बाहर आना चाहते हैं, लेकिन वैसा हो नहीं पाता. ओके, बिकॉज ऑफ द bottleneck, or we can say that the size of the door. In a similar fashion, here what is happening in the line balancing or in the assembly lines, every component want to go in a forward direction as early as possible, but because of the time required for particular workstation is more than the previous workstation, the component will not be produced with the same rate on that workstation. Okay, the component will not be produced or processed with the similar rate as previous workstation, and so that the components will be in an idle condition on that workstation, and less amount of components will be transferred for the further processes. Okay, so that workstation will be considered as a bottleneck workstation. Okay, and in assembly lines you have to reduce this bottleneck. Okay, and you have to reduce WIP. Okay, the second point is nothing but work in progress. Okay, work in progress मतलब समझ लो कि मेरा टाइम 20 मिनट है और पिछली प्रोसेस का टाइम है 10 मिनट का. ओके, आपके पहले एक प्रोसेस कंपोनेंट पर कर सकते हैं और उसके बाद आपकी प्रोसेस है. ओके, तो उसका टाइम है एक कंपोनेंट फिनिश करने का 10 मिनट का, और उसके बाद आपकी तरफ कंपोनेंट आने वाला है और आपको काम करने के लिए उस पर 20 मिनट लगते हैं. ओके, तो 10 मिनट में 20 मिनट में वो 2 कंपोनेंट आपकी तरफ भेजेगा, लेकिन आप 20 मिनट में एक ही कंपोनेंट बाहर निकाल रहे हो, नहीं तो अगली प्रोसेस को दे रहे हो. तो एक कंपोनेंट आपकी यहाँ पर आइडल कंडीशन में पड़ा रहेगा. सो अगले 10 मिनट में अगला एक कंपोनेंट आपके यहाँ पर आके पड़ेगा. सो आपकी लोकेशन पे क्या होगा, आपकी लोकेशन पर इन्वेंट्री बढ़ती जाएगी. ओके, आपके लोकेशन पर इन्वेंट्री बढ़ती जाएगी. सो दैट temporary storage of inventory or the product which is unfinished will be called as a work in progress. Okay, will be called as a work in progress. जिस पर complete process नहीं हुई फिर भी वो idle condition पे है. So that is nothing but a work in progress inventory. That is nothing but the work in progress inventory. So here the line balancing concept is related to that things only. Okay, in line balancing you have to remove out the idle time of a employee or the machine from the assembly lines or any production line. Second thing is nothing but all the materials, required materials should be available to that particular workstation. Okay, here you can see that on the back side of this assembly line the materials are provided, so it will be easily available if there is a the requirement of a material at this workstation, similarly for the different workstation. So material should be available on this spot for the assembly or for the manufacturing purpose. Okay, so that is the second thing in the line balancing. Third thing is nothing but you have to reduce the bottleneck so that the work in progress inventory will be reduced, and you have to increase the production rate. You have to increase the production rate. So that is nothing but you have to reduce the cycle time of a one product. Okay, and here in an assembly line, the cycle time will be considered as the maximum time required for from all the workstations. Okay, from the all जिस वर्कस्टेशन को आपको सबसे ज्यादा टाइम लगेगा वो टाइम आपका टोटल साइकिल टाइम कंसीडर हो जाएगा. ओके, वो टाइम आपका टोटल साइकिल टाइम कंसीडर हो जाएगा. सो when you are reducing the bottleneck, when you are reducing the work in progress inventory, then and then only the cycle time of a production of a one product will get reduced. Okay, cycle time of a production of a one product or cycle time of assembling of a one product will get reduced. Okay, nowadays this picture was somewhat older, and nowadays we can see that the automated assembly lines are there, and here also the similar kind of a concept is used. So each task is assigned to particular robots, and so that the time for production will get reduced. Okay, so line balancing is a apportionment or a distribution of a sequential work activities into workstation in order to gain a high utilization of a labor and equipment so as to minimize the idle time. Then assembly line balancing is associated with a product layout in which the products are processed as they pass through a line of a work center. Then an assembly line can be considered as a production sequence where parts are assembled together to form an end product. The operations are carried out at a different workstation situated along the line. Okay, getting everyone this? Now take one example. So whatever example I have given previously, the similar kind of example you can see here. So machine A is there and machine B is there. Okay, initially you forgot about this. Okay, initially you forgot about this. Okay, so there is this machine is not available. Okay, now machine A is the lathe machine which having the production rate of 50 pieces per hour. Okay, so machine A producing the 50 components in 1 hour, but machine B is a milling machine. Okay, machine B is the milling machine. Don't consider this particular machine now. Machine B is the milling machine, and machine B producing 25 components. Okay, and this is the sequence of operation. After performing the task on this lathe machine, then only you can perform the task on that product on a B machine. So milling machine B is having the production rate of 25 components. Milling machine B having the production rate of 25 components, and so that what will happen? So machine A will process the component 50 number of a component in 1 hour, but machine B process 25 components in 1 hour. So the remaining 25 components will be in an idle condition, and your output will become 25 products per hour only. 25 products per hour only. Okay, now you have implemented the bottleneck concept or line balancing concept over here. Okay, line balancing concept over here. So for that reason you have installed one another machine. Okay, one another machine which is having the similar capacity of processing, that is nothing but 25 components. So now in the second concept you consider there are two B machines, two B milling machines. So 50 components will be produced in 1 hour from lathe machine or processed in 1 hour from lathe machine, and similar number of components or 50 number of components will be processed from 2 milling machines. So your output will become 50 units per hour. Your output will become 50 units per hour. So this is nothing but what? You have reduced bottleneck, and you have reduced work in progress inventory, and you have increased, you have decreased the cycle time. You have decreased the cycle time. Okay, getting my point, everyone? Is there any question, any doubt in a line balancing? So similarly, if you take the next example, okay, now here you can see that these operations, drilling, milling, grinding, and assembly, these are the sequential operation. Without doing drilling, you can't go for the milling. Without doing milling, you can't go for the grinding. Without doing grinding, you can't go for the assembly. Okay, so these operations are the sequential operation. Okay, so now here how the line is balanced, or the production process is balanced. Initially, the drilling machines are producing the 4 number of components in 15 minutes. Okay, but the milling machine producing 12 number of components in a 5 minutes. Okay, 12 number of components in a 5 minutes. So if you take the 3 drilling machines, then what will be your production rate? 12 number of components in a 5 minutes. Okay, here not a 15 minutes, here the 5 minutes is there. Okay, so 4 number of components in a 5 minutes, 4 number of components in a 5 minute, 4 number of components in a 5 minute. So initially, if you have one drilling machine only, then that machine will produce 4 number of components in a 5 minute. Okay, now the milling machine will be in idle condition for the remaining time period. Okay, because the milling machine will produce the 12 number of components per hour. Okay, here the per hour is there. Okay, so I may be wrong. 12 per hour. Okay, so 4 per hour. Okay, 4. So cycle time will be 5 minutes, 15 minutes for this, and the cycle time will be for the milling machine is 5 minutes. Okay, now similarly the second machine, grinding machine, cycle time is 10 minutes or 6 per hour it is producing, and assembly cycle time is 12 per hour. Now here the milling and assembly line, here the drilling and grinding cycle time is different one. So in that case, to fulfill the need of a milling machine, we have to install 3 drilling machines, and to fulfill the requirement of assembly, we have to install one more grinding machine, so that the cycle time for each stage will become a similar one. Okay, will become a similar cycle time. Okay, now here the drilling operation having the cycle time of a 12 per hour. Similarly, the milling operation is also having the cycle time of a 12 per hour, 12 units per hour, and grinding operation is also having. Sorry. And the assembly line is also having the cycle time of 12 units per hour. Okay, so your output will be 12 components per hour. Output will be 12 components per hour. Okay, so in this manner you have to manage the assembly line. Okay, you have to manage the assembly line, and this concept will be called as a line balancing. This concept is called as a line balancing. Is there any question, any doubt in line balancing? Is there any question, any doubt? So write down the heading line balancing. Write down the heading line balancing. The first point in that, you can write the first point in that, line balancing is the apportionment or a distribution. Line balancing is the apportionment in bracket distribution, in bracket distribution of sequential work activities, of sequential work activities, of sequential work activities into workstations, into workstations, in order to gain, in order to gain, in order to gain a high utilization of labor, in order to gain, in order to gain a high utilization of labor, a high utilization of labor and equipment, and equipment, so as to minimize, so as to minimize the idle time, so as to minimize the idle time. Second point, assembly line balancing, assembly line balancing, assembly line balancing is associated with a product layout, is associated with product layout, is associated with a product layout in which products are processed, products are processed, in which products are processed as they pass through a line of work centers, as they pass through a line of work centers, as they pass through a line of work centers. Then second, next point, an assembly line can be considered, an assembly line can be considered, an assembly line can be considered as a production sequence, as a production sequence where parts are assembled together, where parts are assembled together, where parts are assembled together to form, to form an end product, to form an end product, to form an end product. Next point, the operations are carried out, the operations are carried out at a different workstations. The operations are carried out at different workstations, workstations situated along the line, situated along the line, situated along the line. Okay, so we'll write what are the different advantages of assembly line. You'll get the uniform rate of production, less material handling will be there, less work in progress inventory will be there, you can easily control the production, then you can easily utilize the facilities with highest effectiveness, and there will be less overcrowding and less blocking of a material. And what are the disadvantages of this assembly line? That is nothing but you require the more capital initially, okay, or more investment initially. Then if you want to increase the degree of automation, in that case also you require more capital. Then these assembly lines are product oriented. The workstations are prepared according to the specific product only. Okay, So here you will not get that much flexibility to accommodate the change. Okay, here you will not get that much flexibility to accommodate the change. So the line balancing concept or assembly line concept is having low flexibility, and on a particular workstation you have to perform the similar type of a work for long time period. Okay, for number of days, for number of months, or for the number of years. So if you are performing the one work repeatedly, then that type of a work will be called as a monotony work. Okay, that type of a work is called as a monotony work. So here, if the work become monotony, so the negligence will increase. Okay, if the work become monotony, the negligence of or negligence behavior of a worker will get increased. So that is the disadvantages of assembly lines or a line balancing. Okay, or a flow line. So you can write advantages, advantages, advantages: uniform rate of production, uniform rate of production, uniform rate of production. Then second, less material handling, less material handling, less material handling, less material handling. Third one, less work in progress, less work in progress, less work in progress. Fourth one, easy production control, easy production control, easy production control. Then fifth one, effective use of facilities and or labors, effective use of facilities and or labor. The next one, less overcrowding, less overcrowding, oblique blocking. Then what are the disadvantages? More capital intensive, that is demand larger investment, demand larger investments. Then second one, low flexibility, low flexibility. And the third one is monotony of work for operation, monotony or in bracket repetitiveness of work for operator, repetitiveness of work for operator. Okay, so these are the disadvantages. Now you can draw this okay. If you are complete with this diagram, then you can put up your roll numbers in the chat box and you can leave this meeting.